All right, welcome to Ops Talks presented by Rentley. I'm Andre Sanchez, your host, and Ops Talks for those of you that don't know, is Rentley's podcast where we really elevate thought leaders in the industry and outside of prop tech, and get their sense of where the industry's at, how they've grown, their respective brands, companies, or teams. And we really have just an open, unrehearsed conversation about all those things. So we have a really special guest who flew thousands and thousands of miles to be here. We have Bijoy Shivan, who is our managing director in India. Welcome to Ops Talks.
Thank you, Andre, for the warm welcome.
Okay, did I get the last name? Did I get it right?
Absolutely right.
Okay, I got it right. Perfect. So, Bijoy has been here at Rentley how long now? 6 years about?
Around
6.5 years. We really wanted to have him on the podcast to really explain how he's built a team. Really interesting to get your global insights on how you've done that, and what challenges and opportunities you faced. But before we go into all that, tell us, Bijoy, a little bit about yourself and your journey here at Rentley.
Clark and I have worked together in the past in a healthcare company, and we have built a great team and delivered good products. So we have developed this friendship since 2007, and we became close friends. So then Clark left Atlas and then started Rentley, and I continued with I continued with Atlas and grew to the position of Vice President of Technical Operations. And I was actually about to pursue my passion of societal service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at that juncture, Clark actually gave me a promise that he will come and visit me in my hometown in India. So he stayed with us for around 1 week. And then he was talking to me about the challenges that he was facing to build a great engineering team.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt that probably that is a time I can contribute to Rentley and then build another great technology company. So that is how I took up the responsibility of building engineering team in Rentley and the presence in India.
There's so much to unpack there. That's a really interesting story. I don't think I've ever known that was the story, the specifics. So he stayed with you for a week.
Yeah.
In your home.
Yeah.
And at the end was posing these challenges to you. And you came to Rentley through that week of relationship that you had built upon, obviously the foundation you already had, but that week was the closing week for Bejoy to come to Rentley.
Yes.
When did you know, you worked with Clark in a prior company. What was the moment where you realized, hey, beyond being professionals that work together, we're actually friends? Was there a moment where you knew like, hey, we're actually, beyond the professional 9 to 5 relationship, you had a bonding moment that sticks out where you remember like, hey, Clark is actually, beyond a professional relationship, he's a friend of yours?
Of course, that was the very first year of we coming together in the previous company. And I felt that he's a very spiritual person. I'm also a spiritual person. I like being what I am. And I felt he's also having the same personality.
So comfortable in your own skin.
Yes.
Comfortable with your views and values and culture and your spirituality. And that was a shared bond.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And, I would like to say this. After joining Rentley, I feel that I see so many people like him around me.
Okay.
I feel so comfortable working along with the team Rentley. And then that has helped us build a great team.
One of the other questions was, how does Clark rank as a roommate? Is he a good roommate? What does he do well as a roommate? Is there something where you're like, man, you should really stop snoring? Like it's really keeping me up at night? Like tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, we stayed together for many months. And even now, when we get an opportunity, we stay together in our home, in hotel room. So he's very, very considerate.
He's a great roommate, it sounds like.
Great roommate.
Okay, good.
I always feel that he considers me more than himself.
That's awesome. So there you go. You heard it here first. Great roommate, Clark Lee.
Yeah.
If you ever want to share a hotel. On a serious note, you had a big project in front of you. You basically were handed this project of, hey, you need to spin up an engineering team to service Rentley. I guess one question I would have is, there's a lot that comes with that. What did you see as like the biggest things that you needed to um, lay as a foundation for that team? What were the biggest challenges you personally had to overcome? And it could be, anything that comes to mind. What were the top three things you felt like you had to focus on?
First, I have understood the vision of Rendley and what are the goals for Rendley. So, understanding and aligning with the company vision was very important. And even prior to me taking up official Rendley role, um, Clark has briefed like his start, how the company has started, who all he works with. You know, he mentioned to me that he got a wonderful co-founder, Eric, and he's into prop tech, and he has got a wealth of knowledge in the property industry, in the real estate industry. So I felt he has taken the right step,
Mm.
and this has got great potential. And I felt that Renly could become a brand which is known to every household in the US and globally as well, not just in the US. So I felt it was really challenging. And being in IoT, IoT is a multidisciplinary domain.
IoT is Internet of Things, by the way, in case you're unfamiliar. Yeah.
So it requires multiple skill sets, and
Very hard.
we need constant innovation happening on this fast changing technology. So the first challenge was identification of the right talent. We could actually use lateral hires, or we can invest on team members and train them,
Right.
mentor them to take up this sophisticated role. So I've actually went ahead with a mixed approach of
Sure.
doing experienced team members as well as fresh talent.
Right.
So you asked me what was the three different priorities that I have identified. So one was identification of the right talent. Second is creation of a structured training plan, which builds the right skills for the individual to be successful. And third thing is the process for all of us to work together and deliver high quality results. And the process that we are following is Agile methodology. Agile methodology fosters collaborative environment. It also gives opportunity for innovation. It also develops personal respect between the colleagues. So those are the three priorities that I had. And then we started the journey. And the result is right now demonstrated. We now have almost high quality releases. Every release is actually bug free, and we are also meeting and exceeding the expectations of the market.
And to give context too, which is fantastic, you started 6 years ago, and how many people did you have directly reporting to you in locations, and how many today, to give people a sense of scale? Because I know the number, but I think it's a really great story to tell, with regards to how fast, not how fast and quick, but how regimented you have been about growing the team?
Team members directly reporting to me was just one at that point of time.
So you had one direct report. So 1 + 1 is 2. So you had 2 people that you were starting off with.
Yeah.
And I assume that was out of Coimbatore. Is that correct? Is that where?
I was based out of Coimbatore,
Okay.
but the first hire was Shatruba.
Love Shartrupa if she's listening.
Yes.
Big fan. I work with her. I used to work with her on ISO audits a lot. I really enjoyed working with her. So you had 2.
Yeah.
And so Shartrupa is Rentley employee number 1 in India. And then now today we have how many in how many locations?
We have close to 300 team members working out of India, and we have presence in 6 different locations.
It's phenomenal.
So prior to me taking up this role, if Rentley has engaged Bitcanny, a consulting group from Calcutta. So I initially worked with them, and later those team members also onboarded with.
I wanted to touch on something that's I find very interesting, especially post COVID, and I think there's opportunities and challenges. Is how do you manage a team across multiple locations, right? Especially when you're having to communicate globally with stakeholders. Um, One question I have for you is like, what's the biggest challenge and what's the biggest benefit to that dynamic?
I would like to make complex issues appear to be simple. So how we can make it simple is by having by adopting the right process, which connects with the people. So we now have agile processes for our development, and also having the right leaders right leaders joining our team. I personally believe investment on our team members matters a lot in building a great team. So we do have a highly trustworthy leadership team working out of India from multiple locations. And they are fully empowered to make decisions which is in line with the organizational objectives and goals. And we also fosters a collaborative and innovative culture. So putting all this together actually addresses the challenges that you have actually answered. So it becomes like a well-oiled engine for us.
You have the foundation of Agile that really helps too, which, it's interesting you say that because I think about, the dynamic ops has, right? Which is we don't have the challenge you have of locations, right? Our challenge, I feel like, is a bit different in that we work with so many stakeholders. One of the things I see is in operations, and you see it to a degree in engineering too, because you're collaborating with so many departments, right? Like engineering touches so many things and experiences in the journey, and even internal experiences too to Rentley. I have this rule. The one thing that's funny to me is we have people in the office, right, in our Camarillo location, which you guys will see in a future podcast. But the funniest thing to me is when people are in the office and they set a Zoom meeting or a Google Calendar meeting that's virtual. And I go, guys, like we're all here. Oh, why are we doing a virtual meeting? And it's so funny to me that, and it's just one of those things you start navigating post COVID and hey, let's meet in person. I feel like meeting in person has helped reduce a lot of the dynamics you see when it's just virtual. And so that's kind of one trick that I tell people is, hey, if you're in the office and you're all in person, don't call a Google Calendar invite meeting, like meet face to face. And I feel like that's helped hash out a lot of maybe miscommunications or things like that. And the other rule, I don't know if you do this. I'm posing it because I'm actually interested to hear your thoughts on both of these. And the other rule, actually, I kind of ripped this off from Clark, which he ripped off from Amazon. He has this one thing that drives me nuts is when I have meetings with like 30 people. And so one thing that we've started to institute, and I think we do a pretty good job of, and I think actually the company has done a better job too, is we have the pizza rule, or it's like the 2 pizza rule, where you don't have a lot of people in a meeting. And those are two things or rules that I've tried to curate within ops. I'm curious, like it ties to a question, I promise. It's, is there any process that you've implemented that has helped streamline communication across, engineering teams that you've seen in the last 6 years evolve?
Of course.
Huh.
So, our engineering team is divided into smaller innovation team,
Okay.
and each innovation team, the maximum number of people are 8.
Okay. So you sort of have a 2 pizza rule for engineering in a way.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning, 8. The max an innovation team can be is 8. That is the Bijoy rule. So you never have a team larger than 8.
No,
Okay.
in engineering.
What's your team structure within those 8?
So within the innovation team, a Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master is kind of leadership role. However, that is performed. This role is performed on a rotational basis within the team,
Okay, so it's almost like a rotating role within an engineering team.
within the 8 team members.
Scrum Master, and help the audience out if you're not an engineer and they're like,
Yeah.
what the heck is this guy talking about? What is a Scrum Master?
Oh, very nice question. Thank you so much. Scrum Master is a person who facilitates the team to perform in alignment with the organizational goal. All right. He also, sets boundaries, right? When we keep talking about a topic of interest, we tend to go out of time.
We drift.
We also spend a lot of time. So, Scrum Master is a person who watches over and then make sure that we effectively utilize our time.
In a way, they're a referee. Hey, let's make sure that we're on task, on time, on budget.
Exactly.
So that's the Scrum Master. So that's one of the 8, and that rotates.
And then
That's quite benevolent. So everyone gets a chance to be the Scrum Master.
exactly.
Okay.
So that helps develop leadership skills within the team members, and also builds respects within the team. Then the key role is of a technical lead. So technical lead, of course, that he is adapt the technology stuff that particular team is working on. And then engineers, we have senior software engineers and software engineers working within the team. It will be around 6 people. 6 of them will be from the development background. So that includes technical lead and the software engineers. And then we have 2 quality engineers.
To ensure that code is up to snuff, there's no issues, they don't detect anything that's essentially a function to help quality assure or quality engineer all the code that comes through that team.
So now if you visualize this team structure, whatever output is coming out of it is consumable and meets the market requirements. It's kind of a independent unit that works and then delivers the highest quality releases and on time.
So in a weird way, we sort of have similar methodologies. I would say yours is absolutely more structured with roles and the Scrum Master rotating. I think it's very interesting, but you always limit the audience in a way, right? You limit the decision makers so that they can make decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And they function as an independent unit so that they can get the thing that they need to do done.
The requirement for this team comes via the product team. Product manager or product owner meets with the team probably in multiple occasions, not on a daily basis. So you were asking me about communication. How do we resolve the communication challenges? So every day we do have stand-up meeting, huddles, then other meetings as required.
Yep.
So when the team comes together at the same time, at the same location, mostly at the same location, we also have tried building the team out of the same location, 8 people from the same location.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You get more face-to-face time,
100%.
and then you can just walk to the next person's desk and then talk.
I'm a big fan of walk-around management. I read that in Beyond Entrepreneurship. Great book if you read it. it's not a regimented process. Walk around management is literally you walk around and talk to people. And this is why I kind of, to your point, right? It's why I appreciate the FaceTime. And I'm not dismissing remote work, right? This isn't a remote versus in person, debate, but um, walking around and just talking to people, you get so many insights, and that's where in person meetings really help too, because you can get so much more clarity and I think more thoughtful decision making by having more of those conversations. So I totally agree. I love the idea of walking around and just talking to people and understanding the pain points and internally getting people to talk with each other is just so powerful. I
Yeah.
think half the power of a manager is brokering. Like I really do believe that. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a meeting and literally just by me connecting disparate teams or disconnected teams, like things have gotten solved for. And in the back of my head, I'm like, well, did I really do anything here? I actually didn't like contribute heavily. I kind of maybe guided it at the front, like, hey, this is the problem we're trying to solve for. But I really do believe a lot of what we do on a day to day is kind of brokering. Like you're facilitating and letting them kind of talk through the challenges and sort of guiding them.
Yeah. Facilitating.
Yeah.
Okay. So one more thing that I have done is
Hmm.
these teams are also positioned together in an office, so they can just turn around and then talk to his team member.
Love that about the Coimbatore office. I was privileged enough to visit it, and it was great to see everyone there. It was actually a little scary. If I'm being honest, I walked in, I'm like, oh my, because you hear the numbers,
Yeah.
right? You go, oh yeah, 300 people, I got this. And then you walk in, you are also opening the office. I walk in and I see all the people together in person collaborating. It was really beautiful. You guys had a great setup, conference room, but I did see that too, even within the first 2 minutes.
Yes.
The ability for people to just kind of walk, talk, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm sure that was by design.
It was by design.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a well thought out design, foster high level of collaboration. And I'm I'm on I'm not against remote work. There are people within the Scrum team working out of multiple locations. But what we try to do is one team, when we design a team, we see that, okay, where the maximum number of people are there. So there will be one location where there are maximum number of people. Then from other location, there will be one or two people. When we have people working out of the US as part of the Scrum teams there, as part of the innovation team.
Mm-hmm. I try to do this with my team because we have some remote team members as well. And I think what helps is, every once in a while, making sure that they have the time to come in and set the time to actually meet the team. Because I feel like when you're remote 100% of the time, you sort of build less rapport with your team. It's not as deep as a relationship if and regularly, even once a quarter or once a year, like, hey, get some FaceTime with that. Do you find that that's similar with your teams as well?
Cannot agree with you more on this.
Yeah.
So we do have this process
No.
of team members visiting and then working together, probably once in a quarter or at least once in 6 months. Because we have structured the team in line with their geography, this we have brought in a lot of operational efficiency by having only one or two people travel.
Right. 100%.
So we do encourage, and that is a process.
I want to pivot a little bit. Me and you were having a little bit of this conversation, and it kind of tied into something that you don't regularly attribute to engineering, which is marketing. Like one thing that we were talking about, before the team was setting up all the equipment, we were kind of riffing a little bit on marketing, right? And we were talking about this podcast, and I'm curious to see, like, how does Bejoy market Rentley and engineering in India? It's something that I don't think probably you did at the beginning. You had so many other priorities, but how has that evolved over time? And when I say marketing, meaning, I know regularly your team attends conferences in India, and I see now that you're even outside of this wonderful podcast, I know that you're getting interviewed regularly. And again, engineering and marketing seem very disparate. What objectives are you trying to achieve as a leader by actually having these marketing touch points or participating in these podcasts? Because traditionally, when you think engineering, you think, yeah, just go code, right? Just do the code, just deliver the code. Tell me why you do that, and maybe give us some insight on that.
All right. A smart person will definitely look at the brand of the company. Uh, so it was a necessity that we a, build good brand name for our company within India.
Yep.
So as part of this brand building exercises, what I have started doing is I have started visiting conferences, presenting about Rendley and what we do. And it was in a very targeted manner. The target audience was technology community. And the next thing what we have done is we have heavily invested on our talent, and they've started spreading the good qualities or good attributes of the company within their friend circle. So the word of mouth.
So you're getting a lot of word of mouth buzz.
We are getting lot of word of mouth publicity, and as a management, Renly is very committed to investing on our team members and developing them, both professionally and personally. So, and all of us are tightly bonded, and we get high commitment and passion because of this heavy investment that the company has done with full sincerity. And after some time, what I thought was, we have developed a lot of skills within us. We need to start contributing to the technology community. So we started doing webinars and presenting papers in conferences. So that also actually helped us build a good brand name within India. So it's very important for us to build the brand, to attract the right talent, and to have the right position within that geography.
Yeah, 100%. Outside of, um, marketing and attracting talent, we get a little human. I personally like to disconnect from work with a couple hobbies. What do you enjoy doing outside of work? Second part to that question is, do you find there's any application to what you do in your hobbies to work?
I love to do societal service.
See.
We have built a small group named Vriksha. Vriksha is a Sanskrit term.
What does it mean?
It's a tree.
Oh, it's a tree.
It's a banyan tree.
I know a banyan tree. I've seen those.
Yes. So it has got a lot of leaves, and
It's a very full, robust tree. Yeah.
tree, and
Yeah.
it gives shade to
Very strong tree.
Yes.
Survives fires.
surface part.
Yeah, it's very robust. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And it gives shade to a lot of us, right?
Sure.
As a company, we have undertaken multiple societal activities as well. We have built a dining hall for a government school nearby.
Oh, wow.
We also have contributed to nature building, contributing to the nature. We have contributed in by planting trees in and around our office space. This is connected with Renly and the team. Personally, I love organic farming.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have an organic farm where we have not used chemicals for past probably 30 years.
That's fantastic.
Me and my wife and my daughter wants to live in tune with the nature. We are really consumers of nature. We want to contribute to the nature as well. So organic farming is a very good way of contributing back. Even after we leave this world, the land will be there for our future generation to use. So organic farming really meets that personal objective of myself, my wife, and
Mm, interesting.
yeah.
Um, I wonder if there's a story here where you love organic farming because you like to plant things and watch them grow, similar to Rentley, India. Hey, you've planted the seed of Rentley, India, and are watching it grow. Um, I quite like gardening as well. I didn't know that about you until today. Um, it 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 connects you.
Yeah.
It's very tactile, right? You touch, you feel the earth, you curate a garden and you watch it grow, and sometimes things don't work out, probably because you did something wrong or it was something outside of your control. I find a lot of parallels in gardening and business, candidly, right? You invest in people, you watch them grow, and some thrive and some don't due to either conditions outside their control or within their control. So I also quite like gardening. I don't have an organic farm. I'm not at your level yet. Um, Land here in California is a little expensive, but if this podcast takes off, who knows? Maybe we'll have an organic farm too. Um, Bijoy, any final last words for the audience? Any final tips, tricks, words of wisdom? Anything you just want to end on with this interview?
This was a great interaction, Andre. It actually opened up a lot of thoughts. From my perspective, I would like to enjoy life and let us spread uh, happiness and love around all of us and contribute to the society to bring happiness to at least one person
Mm,
every single day.
agreed. That's great. And I really enjoyed this. I feel like I went to Coimbatore and I learned more about you in this hour-long meeting than I had on my week-long trip there. No, so I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you making the trek out here, many thousands of miles to get here. So really happy to have you on and happy to learn more about you and really appreciate working with you. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you brought regimented in process, which I love. And we really appreciate having you, Bijoy.
Thank you so much for being a wonderful colleague.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.